Have you ever found yourself paralyzed by self-doubt, questioning your every decision, or feeling like you're just not good enough? It's a feeling that can sneak up on anyone, turning even the most confident person into a bundle of nerves. Imagine a great leader like Marcus Aurelius, who faced immense pressures and responsibilities daily. Yet, despite ruling the Roman Empire, even he grappled with self-doubt. The difference? He had Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that empowered him to overcome these crippling thoughts. What if you could harness the same wisdom to conquer your own doubts and build an unshakable confidence? In this video, we're diving into 10 powerful Stoic strategies that will show you how to do just that. Whether you're battling insecurities at work, struggling with personal decisions, or just looking to strengthen your inner resolve, these strategies are your guide to transforming doubt into confidence. But before we get started, let me ask you, are you ready to take control of your mind and silence that inner critic for good? If so, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stick around until the end. Trust me, you won't want to miss the transformative insights we're about to explore together. Self-doubt is like a shadow that follows you everywhere. But what if I told you that the Stoics believed you could shine a light so bright that the shadow would disappear? That's right. By applying these ancient principles, you can turn your self-doubt into a source of strength and clarity. And in just a moment, I'm going to share with you the very first Stoic strategy that will help you reclaim your confidence. But first, let's consider why understanding what you can control is the foundation of overcoming doubt. Let's dive in. Strategy 1. Dichotomy of control. Imagine you're facing a critical moment. Maybe it's a job interview, an important presentation, or even a personal decision that feels overwhelming. As the pressure builds, so does the self-doubt. Thoughts race through your mind. What if I mess this up? What if I'm not good enough? It's easy to spiral into a web of anxiety. But what if you could cut through that web with a single clear thought? What can I control here, and what can I not? This is the essence of the Stoic principle known as the dichotomy of control. The Stoics believed that the key to inner peace lies in understanding the difference between what is within our control and what isn't. Picture yourself standing on the deck of a ship in a storm. The wind and waves are out of your control, but how you steer the ship, that's entirely up to you. The Stoics teach us to focus on steering our ship, not on trying to calm the storm. So, how does this apply to overcoming self-doubt? Think back to that job interview or presentation. You can't control how the interviewer or audience will respond, but you can control your preparation, your attitude, and your effort. By directing your energy towards what you can influence, like practicing your answers, refining your presentation, or simply taking a deep breath to calm your nerves, you not only become more effective, but also reduce the power that self-doubt has over you. Now, let's make this practical. Next time you feel self-doubt creeping in, ask yourself, what parts of this situation can I control? Focus your energy on those aspects. For example, if you're worried about an outcome, shift your focus to the process instead. Can you control the outcome? No. But can you control how much effort you put into your preparation? Absolutely. Before we move on, take a moment to reflect. How often do you find yourself worrying about things you can't control? What would happen if you redirected that energy towards what you can control? This simple shift in perspective can make a world of difference in how you handle doubt and uncertainty. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The next Stoic strategy we'll explore takes this idea of focusing on what you can control to another level, by preparing for the worst, not as a pessimist, but as someone who's ready to face whatever comes with courage and clarity. Stay tuned as we dive into the powerful practice of negative visualization, a tool that can turn your fears into strengths. Strategy 2. Negative visualization. Imagine for a moment that you're standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down at the vast ocean below. The wind is fierce and the drop is terrifying. But instead of stepping back, you close your eyes and imagine the worst-case scenario: falling, feeling the rush of air as you plummet, the impact of the water. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? Why would anyone willingly picture their fears so vividly? Yet this practice, known as negative visualization, is one of the Stoics' most powerful tools for building resilience and crushing self-doubt. The Stoics believed that by regularly envisioning the worst possible outcomes, you can prepare your mind and body to face challenges with greater strength and clarity. Let's say you're worried about an upcoming exam, a business pitch, or a crucial conversation with a loved one. Instead of letting that fear fester and paralyze you, negative visualization encourages you to confront it head-on. Picture yourself failing the exam, losing the deal, or having that conversation go terribly wrong. How does it feel? What would you do next? By imagining these scenarios, you strip them of their power to surprise or overwhelm you. Here's the fascinating part. When you actually face the situation, you're no longer caught off guard. You've already rehearsed the worst, so now anything less feels manageable. It's like a mental vaccine, exposing yourself to a small dose of fear to build up your immunity against it. This doesn't mean you expect or hope for the worst, but rather that you're prepared for it, which in turn reduces your overall anxiety and self-doubt. Let's bring this concept into your daily life. Think about a situation that's been causing you stress. Maybe it's a project at work, a tough decision, or a personal challenge. Take a moment to visualize the worst possible outcome. Really let yourself feel the discomfort. Now, ask yourself, if this happened, how would I cope? What steps would I take to recover? The goal is not to dwell in negativity, but to emerge stronger, with a plan in place. Negative visualization also has a surprising side effect. It often leads to gratitude. By imagining what life would be like if things went wrong, you become more appreciative of what you have and the way things are. It's a subtle shift in perspective that can make a big difference in how you approach life's challenges. So, next time you're gripped by self-doubt, don't shy away from your fears. Instead, invite them in, look them in the eye, and let them show you just how capable you really are. But we're not stopping here. As powerful as negative visualization is, it's just one piece of the puzzle. Up next, we'll explore how focusing on virtue, on what truly matters, can give you the inner strength to not just face your fears, but to rise above them. Stay with me as we delve into the Stoic strategy that centers your life around unshakable principles, turning doubt into determination. Strategy 3. Focus on virtue. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads, faced with a difficult decision. On one side, there's an option that promises immediate success, recognition, and perhaps even wealth. On the other side, there's a path that aligns with your core values, but it's uncertain and might require significant sacrifice. What do you choose? This scenario is a modern reflection of an ancient dilemma, one that the Stoics faced regularly. Their answer? Always choose virtue. The Stoics believed that true confidence and peace of mind come from living a life of virtue, acting with integrity, honesty, and courage, regardless of the external outcomes. Think about it. If your sense of self-worth is tied to external achievements like money, status, or the approval of others, then your confidence will always be on shaky ground, vulnerable to the whims of fate. But if your confidence is rooted in virtue, in knowing that you've done the right thing no matter the consequences, then it becomes unshakable. Let's take a step back in history to illustrate this point. Picture Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, who ruled Rome during one of its most turbulent periods. Despite the constant threats to his empire, Marcus remained steadfast in his commitment to virtue. He knew that his legacy wouldn't be defined by whether he won every battle or amassed great wealth, but by how he governed, with justice, wisdom, and integrity. His reign is remembered not just for the victories he achieved, but for the moral example he set, one that has inspired countless generations since. Now, let's bring this idea into your life. When faced with self-doubt, ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my values? Am I making decisions based on what I believe is right? Or am I driven by fear, insecurity, or the desire for approval? By focusing on virtue, you can strip away the layers of doubt and reconnect with your inner strength. Remember, you can't always control the outcomes of your actions, but you can control whether those actions align with your principles. And that's where true confidence lies. Take a moment to reflect on a recent decision you made. Was it guided by your core values? If not, how might you approach it differently next time? This kind of self-reflection is key to reinforcing your commitment to living virtuously, and it's a practice that can gradually erode self-doubt over time. But here's the thing. Focusing on virtue doesn't mean ignoring your emotions or avoiding introspection. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Up next, we'll explore the Stoic practice of self-reflection, a tool that not only helps you stay true to your values, but also sharpens your self-awareness, allowing you to confront and conquer your doubts head-on. Stay tuned as we dive into the art of daily reflection and how it can transform your inner world. Strategy 4. Self-reflection. Imagine, at the end of a long day, sitting quietly with your thoughts, replaying the events that unfolded. You're not just recounting what happened, you're analyzing your actions, your decisions, and most importantly, your thoughts. Did you act according to your values? Were there moments where self-doubt crept in? What can you learn from today to be better tomorrow? This practice of self-reflection is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, and it's a powerful tool for conquering self-doubt. The Stoics, particularly Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, were relentless in their pursuit of self-improvement. They believed that by regularly examining their thoughts and actions, they could identify areas where they strayed from their principles or allowed negative emotions to take hold. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal journal known as Meditations, would write candidly about his daily struggles, reminding himself to stay true to his values and to remain focused on what truly mattered. These writings weren't intended for anyone else. They were a way for him to hold himself accountable and to grow stronger in the face of doubt and adversity. So, how can self-reflection help you? Start by setting aside a few minutes each day, maybe in the evening or first thing in the morning. Use this time to review your day or anticipate the challenges ahead. Ask yourself, what did I do well? Where did I falter? How did I handle moments of uncertainty or fear? By consistently practicing this kind of introspection, you begin to notice patterns. You might discover that certain situations or thoughts trigger your self-doubt. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in overcoming them. But self-reflection isn't just about identifying your weaknesses. It's also about celebrating your strengths. Did you stand up for your values today? Did you take a small but courageous step towards a goal? Acknowledging these victories, no matter how small, reinforces your confidence and builds resilience. Over time, this practice of daily reflection can shift your mindset from one of self-criticism to one of self-compassion and empowerment. Now, let's put this into action. Tonight, before you go to bed, take out a journal or simply sit quietly with your thoughts. Reflect on your day using the questions we've discussed. Don't just focus on what went wrong. Make sure to highlight what you did right. This practice doesn't take long, but the impact can be profound. Over time, you'll find that you're not just more aware of your thoughts and actions, but also more in control of them. But what if self-reflection brings up uncomfortable truths or regrets? How do you move forward when faced with the reality of your imperfections? The next Stoic strategy we'll explore tackles this head-on. It's a practice that reminds us of the transient nature of life and teaches us to embrace our flaws as part of the human experience. Stay tuned as we delve into the profound wisdom of Memento Mori, a concept that will change the way you view your life and your struggles. Strategy 5. Memento Mori. Imagine waking up each morning with a single powerful thought in mind. One day, I will die. It's a stark, sobering reminder, yet this practice, known as Memento Mori, was embraced by the Stoics as a way to keep life's challenges in perspective. It might seem morbid at first glance, but Memento Mori isn't about dwelling on death. It's about truly living. Consider this. The ancient Romans, including great Stoics like Seneca, would often reflect on their mortality to sharpen their focus on what really mattered. Seneca himself wrote letters advising that we should keep death in mind not to scare ourselves, but to ensure that we don't waste time on trivialities. By acknowledging the finite nature of our existence, we are reminded that every moment is precious, and this awareness can be a powerful antidote to self-doubt. Think about the moments in your life when self-doubt has held you back. Maybe you hesitated to take a risk, fearing failure or rejection. But when you remember that your time on this earth is limited, those fears begin to lose their grip. After all, what's worse? Failing at something and learning from it, or never trying at all and living with regret. Memento Mori encourages us to act boldly, to embrace challenges, and to live authentically because we know that our time is limited. But Memento Mori isn't just about pushing past fear. It's also about letting go of the little things that don't matter. When you're caught up in a moment of frustration, perhaps with a colleague or a loved one, remind yourself, will this matter in a year, in a month, in a day? Most likely, it won't. This realization helps you to focus on what truly matters: relationships, personal growth, and living in alignment with your values. Let's take this a step further. How can you incorporate Memento Mori into your daily life? One simple way is through a morning or evening reflection. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, would I be proud of how I lived? What would I regret not doing? This practice isn't about inducing anxiety, but about inspiring action and clarity. It helps you prioritize what's important and to release the trivial worries that feed self-doubt. Now, let's make it interactive. Think about a goal or a dream you've been putting off because of fear or doubt. What would you do differently if you knew your time was running out? How might you approach your life and decisions with a sense of urgency and purpose? This mindset shift can be incredibly liberating, turning self-doubt into a catalyst for living more fully. But while Memento Mori grounds us in the reality of our mortality, the Stoics also teach us to embrace life's unpredictability with open arms. This brings us to our next strategy, Amor Fati, the love of fate. It's about not just accepting, but embracing everything that happens to us, both the good and the bad. Stay tuned as we explore how this powerful concept can help you transform obstacles into opportunities and self-doubt into self-assurance. Strategy 6. Acceptance of fate. Amor Fati. Imagine you've just received some unexpected news. Perhaps a job opportunity you were counting on falls through, or a project you poured your heart into is suddenly cancelled. Your initial reaction might be frustration, disappointment, or even anger. It's natural to resist when things don't go according to plan. But what if, instead of fighting against the current, you could embrace it fully? This is the essence of Amor Fati, the Stoic concept of loving your fate. Amor Fati, which translates to love of fate, is about more than mere acceptance. It's about embracing everything that happens to you, both good and bad, as necessary parts of your journey. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that while we cannot control the events that befall us, we can control how we respond to them. He urged his students to see every challenge, every setback, as an opportunity to practice virtue and grow stronger. Think of it like this: life is like a river, full of twists and turns, rapids and calm stretches. You can fight against the current, exhausting yourself in the process, or you can learn to navigate it, flowing with the water instead of against it. By adopting the mindset of Amor Fati, you learn to stop resisting the unexpected and start seeing it as part of the adventure. Each twist and turn becomes not an obstacle, but a chance to learn, adapt, and grow. Consider a historical example. Thomas Edison, the famous inventor, once experienced a devastating fire that destroyed much of his work and research. Instead of lamenting his loss, Edison famously said, "I am not discouraged because every wrong attempt discarded is another step forward." He embraced his fate, using it as fuel for future success. This is Amor Fati in action, transforming misfortune into motivation. Now let's bring this concept into your life. Think back to a recent setback or disappointment. How did you react? Did you resist it, or did you find a way to embrace it? Amor Fati invites you to shift your perspective, to see every challenge as a necessary part of your story. When faced with difficulties, instead of asking, "Why me?" try asking, "How can this help me grow?" This subtle shift in thinking can turn self-doubt into self-assurance, as you begin to see every experience, no matter how difficult, as an opportunity to build resilience and character. Let's make this actionable. The next time something unexpected happens, whether it's a minor inconvenience or a major life change, pause for a moment. Instead of reacting with frustration or fear, take a deep breath and say to yourself, "This is happening for me, not to me." By practicing Amor Fati, you'll find that life's challenges become less intimidating and more empowering. You'll start to see setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities to strengthen your resolve and sharpen your focus. But accepting fate doesn't mean we passively let life happen to us. The Stoics also teach us the importance of staying grounded in the present moment, of taking deliberate action based on what's in front of us right now. This brings us to our next strategy, mindfulness of the present. Stay tuned as we explore how staying present can help you overcome self-doubt and take control of your life. Strategy 7. Mindfulness of the present. Have you ever caught yourself replaying a past mistake over and over in your mind, or worrying endlessly about a future event that may never happen? It's easy to get lost in thoughts about the past or anxieties about the future. But the Stoics remind us that true power lies in the present moment. This strategy, known as mindfulness of the present, is not just about being aware. It's about fully engaging with the here and now, where life actually happens. Let's travel back to ancient Rome for a moment. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus was born a slave, lived through tremendous hardships, yet rose to become one of the most influential thinkers of his time. His teachings emphasized that while we can't change the past or predict the future, we can control how we respond to the present. Epictetus believed that by focusing on the moment at hand, we can free ourselves from the grip of regret and anxiety, and instead take purposeful action. Imagine you're about to give an important presentation. As the moment approaches, you might start worrying about all the things that could go wrong. What if I forget my lines? What if the audience doesn't respond well? These thoughts pull you out of the present, sapping your energy and confidence. But what if instead you directed all your attention to the present moment? By focusing on your breath, your words, and the connection with your audience, you can channel your energy into delivering your best performance. Mindfulness of the present isn't just for high-pressure situations. It's a practice you can integrate into every aspect of your life. Whether you're enjoying a meal, spending time with loved ones, or working on a project, being fully present enhances your experience and your effectiveness. It helps you to break free from the cycle of self-doubt that often stems from dwelling on the past or fearing the future. Let's make this practical. The next time you catch yourself drifting into thoughts of the past or worries about the future, gently bring your attention back to the present. Notice your surroundings, focus on your breathing, or engage fully with the task at hand. Ask yourself, what can I do right now, in this moment, that aligns with my goals and values? This simple practice can help you regain control over your thoughts and actions, empowering you to move forward with confidence. Now, think about a recent moment when you were completely absorbed in what you were doing. Maybe you were immersed in a hobby, a conversation, or a physical activity. How did it feel to be so present? Contrast that with a time when your mind was scattered with worries or distractions. Which experience was more fulfilling? Mindfulness is about cultivating more of those fully present moments where you're truly engaged with life. But here's an important reminder. Being present doesn't mean ignoring your thoughts or emotions. It's about acknowledging them without letting them dominate your experience. This brings us to our next Stoic strategy, journaling. It's a practice that allows you to process your thoughts, reflect on your experiences, and gain clarity on your journey. Stay with me as we explore how journaling can help you build a deeper connection with yourself and strengthen your resolve against self-doubt. Strategy 8. Journaling. Imagine sitting down at the end of a long day, a blank page in front of you, and a pen in your hand. As you begin to write, the thoughts that have been swirling in your mind all day start to take shape. You capture your fears, your doubts, your triumphs, and your reflections. This is the power of journaling, a simple yet profound practice that has been a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy for centuries. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, used journaling as a tool for self-examination and personal growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in the world as the Roman emperor, kept a private journal where he documented his thoughts, struggles, and philosophical insights. This journal, now known as Meditations, wasn't intended for public view. It was a means for him to process his emotions, confront his doubts, and stay true to his principles in the face of overwhelming responsibility. So why is journaling such a powerful tool for overcoming self-doubt? When you write down your thoughts, you create a space between yourself and your emotions. What was once a vague sense of anxiety or insecurity becomes something tangible, something you can examine and understand. This process helps you gain clarity, identify patterns in your thinking, and develop strategies to address your challenges. It's like having a conversation with yourself, one that can lead to deeper insights and stronger resolve. But journaling isn't just about dissecting your doubts. It's also about celebrating your victories, no matter how small. Did you face a difficult situation today and handle it with grace? Write it down. Did you make progress toward a goal, even if it was just a tiny step forward? Capture that moment. By documenting these positive experiences, you reinforce your belief in your own abilities, building a reservoir of confidence that you can draw from when self-doubt creeps in. Let's make this practical. Start by setting aside just 5 to 10 minutes each day to write in your journal. You don't need to overthink it. Just let your thoughts flow onto the page. Begin by reflecting on your day. What went well? What didn't? How did you feel? What can you learn from your experiences? As you get more comfortable with this practice, you might find that your journal becomes a trusted companion, a place where you can confront your doubts and discover your inner strength. Now, think about a challenge you're currently facing. How might journaling help you work through it? Could writing down your thoughts give you a new perspective or help you identify a solution? Try it out. Write down your worries and see how they change when they're on paper. You might be surprised at how much lighter you feel. But journaling is just one tool in the Stoics toolkit for overcoming self-doubt. It helps you process your thoughts and emotions, but the next strategy we'll explore goes even further. It's about seeking wisdom and learning from those who have walked the path before you. In the next section, we'll dive into the importance of seeking guidance from mentors, philosophers, and role models who embody the virtues you aspire to. Stay with me as we uncover how learning from others can illuminate your path and strengthen your resolve. Strategy 9. Seeking wisdom. Imagine standing at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take. The choices ahead are clouded with uncertainty, and self-doubt whispers in your ear, making every option feel like a potential mistake. It's in moments like these that seeking wisdom becomes invaluable. The Stoics understood this well, surrounding themselves with mentors, philosophers, and role models who could guide them through life's complexities. Consider the example of Marcus Aurelius, who, despite being an emperor, consistently sought advice and inspiration from those he admired, whether it was his teachers, his predecessors, or even the writings of great philosophers like Epictetus. Marcus knew that wisdom isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate by learning from others. He filled his life with the teachings of those who had already walked the path he was on, using their insights to navigate his own challenges with clarity and confidence. So, how can seeking wisdom help you overcome self-doubt? Think about a time when you were struggling with a decision or facing a particularly tough situation. Did you reach out to someone for advice? Perhaps a friend, a family member, or a mentor? Often just hearing someone else's perspective can shed new light on your situation, helping you see options or solutions you hadn't considered. Wisdom doesn't always have to come from direct mentorship. It can also be found in books, podcasts, or even by reflecting on the experiences of those you admire. Here's a practical approach. Identify a few individuals, whether they're historical figures, authors, or people in your life, who embody the virtues you admire. Study their lives, their decisions, and how they dealt with challenges. What can you learn from their experiences? How did they overcome their own doubts and fears? By immersing yourself in their wisdom, you can find answers to your own questions and gain the confidence to move forward. But seeking wisdom isn't just about finding solutions. It's also about gaining perspective. When you're wrapped up in your own worries, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. The Stoics often reminded themselves that their problems, while significant, were just a small part of a much larger whole. By learning from the experiences of others, you're reminded that you're not alone in your struggles. Others have faced similar challenges and found a way through. Now, let's make this interactive. Think about someone you admire, someone whose wisdom you found valuable in the past. How might they approach the problem or decision you're currently facing? What advice do you think they would give you? Take a moment to reflect on this and consider reaching out to them or revisiting their work for inspiration. You might be surprised at how much clarity and confidence you gain from their perspective. But remember, wisdom isn't just something you seek, it's something you practice. The final Stoic strategy we'll explore is about putting all of this into action by practicing courage in your daily life. Courage isn't about the absence of fear, it's about taking action despite it. Stay with me as we dive into how cultivating courage can help you conquer self-doubt and live a life of purpose and fulfillment. Strategy 10. Practice of courage. Imagine standing on the brink of a decision that could change your life. Your heart races and your mind fills with all the reasons why you might fail. It's in moments like these that courage truly matters. Not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. The Stoics believed that courage was one of the most essential virtues, and practicing it daily can be the key to overcoming self-doubt and living a life of purpose. Let's turn to one of the most iconic figures in history, someone who exemplified Stoic courage, Marcus Aurelius. As Emperor of Rome, he faced immense pressure and constant challenges, from managing wars to dealing with plagues. Yet, despite these overwhelming responsibilities, Marcus Aurelius remained steadfast, making decisions not out of fear, but out of a deep commitment to his principles. He knew that courage wasn't just about grand acts of heroism, it was about consistently making the right choices, even when they were difficult or frightening. So, how do we cultivate this kind of courage in our own lives? It begins with small, everyday actions. You don't need to wait for a life or death situation to practice courage. Every day, we're faced with moments where we can choose to act boldly or shrink back in fear. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, trying something new, or confronting a situation you've been avoiding. Each of these moments is an opportunity to build your courage muscle. But here's the thing, courage isn't just about taking risks. It's also about staying true to your values, even when it's easier to compromise. The Stoics believed that true courage is rooted in virtue. It's about standing firm in what you believe is right, even when it's unpopular or difficult. This kind of moral courage is what allows you to face the world with confidence, knowing that no matter the outcome, you acted in alignment with your principles. Let's put this into action. Think about something in your life that requires courage, something you've been hesitating to do. What's holding you back? Is it fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown? Now, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if you took that step? Often, when we break down our fears, we realize that they're not as insurmountable as they seem. Courage is about acknowledging those fears and deciding that your values and goals are more important than the temporary discomfort of facing them. Now, here's a challenge for you. In the next 24 hours, do one thing that requires courage. It doesn't have to be big, just something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Maybe it's having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding, or taking the first step toward a new goal. Whatever it is, take that step with the knowledge that every act of courage strengthens your resolve and diminishes your self-doubt. But remember, courage isn't just a one-time thing. It's a practice, something you build over time. As you continue to take courageous actions, you'll find that your confidence grows and your self-doubt begins to fade. And here's the beautiful part. Each time you practice courage, you inspire others to do the same. Courage is contagious, and by living boldly, you not only transform your own life, but also have a positive impact on those around you. As we conclude this journey through Stoic strategies, it's important to remember that these aren't just abstract ideas. They're practical tools you can use every day to build confidence, overcome self-doubt, and live a life of purpose. Whether it's focusing on what you can control, embracing fate, practicing mindfulness, or seeking wisdom, each strategy is a step toward becoming the person you aspire to be. But the journey doesn't end here. In the final part of this video, we'll bring it all together, showing you how to integrate these strategies into your daily life for lasting change. Stay with me as we wrap up with a powerful reflection on how to live a truly Stoic life, full of courage, wisdom, and inner peace. As we bring this journey through Stoic wisdom to a close, imagine standing at the edge of a new chapter in your life, one where self-doubt no longer holds you back, where you face challenges with confidence and courage. The Stoics, who lived over 2,000 years ago, faced many of the same struggles we do today. Yet, through their philosophy, they developed tools to not just survive, but to thrive. And now, those tools are in your hands. We've explored 10 powerful strategies, from understanding the dichotomy of control, to practicing negative visualization, to cultivating courage in everyday life. Each of these strategies is a piece of the puzzle, helping you to build a life rooted in confidence, purpose, and inner peace. But remember, the true power of these strategies lies not in knowing them, but in applying them consistently. The journey doesn't end here, it begins here. So, as you move forward, ask yourself, how can I integrate these Stoic principles into my daily life? What small changes can I make today that will lead to greater confidence tomorrow? Whether it's taking a few minutes each morning to reflect on what's within your control, journaling your thoughts and victories, or seeking wisdom from those who inspire you, each action you take is a step closer to becoming the person you aspire to be. Now, I have a challenge for you. Choose one of the strategies we've discussed and commit to practicing it every day for the next week. Notice how it affects your mindset, your decisions, and your confidence. Share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear how these Stoic practices are making a difference in your life. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could benefit from these insights. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Stoic wisdom. Remember, self-doubt is not a sign of weakness, but an invitation to grow stronger. By embracing the Stoic way of life, you have the tools to turn doubt into determination and challenges into opportunities. Stay curious, stay courageous, and keep moving forward with the knowledge that you have the power to shape your destiny. Until next time, keep living with purpose and practicing the virtues that lead to a life well lived. See you in the next video.